My mom woke me up one morning. She said, "You got a telegram?" And I had to report to Fort Ord, California via Vietnam. And devastating.
No amount of words or pictures can describe what Gary Cook experienced as a mechanic in Vietnam.
God saw me through every bit of that, and that made me recognize His power.
There's power in healing, which for Cook began when he found himself in Nicaragua years later.
I didn't want to be there. I felt like that I couldn't contribute.
That first trip, I think he was a little antsy, for lack of a better word.
His wife, Trish, wanted to go on a mission trip to Nicaragua.
He kept saying, "This is so much like Vietnam, so much like Vietnam." All the kids were running around, little naked babies and things like that, you know, were so much like he saw in the past.
But often it's our past that molds our future. When a man asked Cook what he did for a living, it paved the path for the rest of his life.
I said, "Live as a mechanic." I said, "I worked on fleet equipment." And he just started, and a big tear rolled down his cheek. He said, excuse me. He said, "I've been praying God would send a mechanic our vehicles that's needed repair." He said, "Here you are." We've been praying for almost a year. And I thought, God's going to use me. Everything I've been through and everything I've done, He's going to use me, and I can't believe it.
The two returned to Nicaragua several times with various church groups when Cook says they felt called to create a ministry of their own. A ministry to provide a safe house for neglected children, like the ones he saw on the streets in Vietnam.
They were kind of living in the cemeteries and on the streets. The house just began there in that moment because we couldn't walk away.
That was 8 years ago. Today, Crime Ministries, as they call it, is a stable and thriving nonprofit. The girls who live in the house receive warm meals, schooling, and a safe place to call home. It's something Cook couldn't give the children he saw in Vietnam.
As I look at our country today and I look at Nicaragua today, He gave us what they're striving for. He gave us freedom.
And even if he doesn't see it,
I feel as far from being a hero as I guess as anybody.
A hero is exactly what Gary Cook is. Emily DeVoe, 10 News.
Mr. Cook says the girls that have grown up in the Crime Ministries house in Nicaragua are showing the same compassion to other children in the village that they were shown. He says that's what makes it all worth it, and as a reward for his service, he will receive a Dollywood prize pack, including tickets to the park and the resort.